Welcome to the screencast on Transana's word frequency reports. These reports allow you to explore the words and language that are used within your data, which can provide useful clues about what your participants consider important and how they talk about it. You can request a word frequency report in Transana from any number of different types of items in the Data Windows database tree, and the report will contain information about different portions of your data depending on how you trigger it. You can request the report for an individual document or transcript, for all transcripts associated with an episode, for all documents and episode transcripts within a library, or for all quotes and clips contained in a collection, including all the items in all nested collections. This allows you the flexibility to examine all of your data or just targeted portions of your data, whatever meets your analytic needs. Let's say that we want to look at the words being used in all of the documents and transcripts in one of our libraries. We simply right-click the library and choose Library Word Frequency Report from the pop-up menu. Transana presents us with the resulting report, which lists all of the individual words contained in the selected items, sorted from most frequently used to least frequently used. There's a lot you can do to customize the word frequency report. Let me show you some of the things that you can do. We'll start with the common words that make language flow better without adding to its meaning. In English, that includes words like a, and, the, and that, as well as a variety of other usually short words. We can safely ignore those words in this analysis, so we'll check them in the report and press the Do Not Show Checked Items button. These words are removed from the report. Now let's look for words that may show up in multiple similar forms in our report. We'll go to the Group Words by Pattern tab of the report. In English, plural words are often formed by adding the letter S to a word. So we'll type the letter S into the word ending box and then press the Apply Pattern button. This groups many words with their plural versions so that the two versions are counted together. It is always a good idea, before returning to our report, to scan the list of results displayed when pattern matching is complete, looking for false positives. For example, is not the plural of the pronoun I, and his is not the plural of the greeting hi. We'll want to select all such positives and remove them from the list before we continue. Other common word endings I search for in English include ed and d for past tense of verbs, ing for the infinitive form of verbs, ly for the adverb form of adjectives, and so on. Keep in mind that you might find false positives for each of these patterns, at least in English. Of course, pattern searching can only go so far, so let's sort our report alphabetically and look for additional words with alternate forms that don't fit into the initial pattern that we've looked for. When we find some, we can check the words and add them to a word group. Be careful not to go overboard with this task, as it can easily take up way more time than it's worth analytically. This process also works when we want to flag synonyms as having the same meaning. For example, in a medical context, we might want to group words together such as doctor, physician, specialist, practitioner, GP, and surgeon, as words all having nearly the same meaning. Once you're satisfied with your word groupings, you might want to take a look at the word cloud. This visual representation of the word frequency report can provide you with a lot of information very efficiently. Sometimes it's useful to use the word frequency report's options to alter either the word frequency report or the word cloud. Please note that the options that you set on the Options tab will affect both. Let's set a minimum frequency of 5 occurrences and a minimum word length of 4 letters, and see how that affects our word cloud. That looks much better. Let's save it as a JPEG to use for a presentation. Another feature of the word frequency report is the capacity to request a text search directly from the report. If you request this for a word group, Transana will include all of the words in that group in the search that it performs. This process can be especially useful from a collection word frequency report because the scope of the text search corresponds with the scope of the word frequency report. That means that for a word frequency report on a library, document, episode, or transcript, it will return documents and episode transcripts with the appropriate scope that meets the search terms, while text searches for a collection word frequency report will return quotes and clips in the appropriate collections and nested collections that contain the search text. So let's close our library word frequency report and open a collection word frequency report. To initiate a text search from the word frequency report, first check the word or words that you want to include, then press the text search button in the report's toolbar. For example, in our collection of questions asked of U.S. presidential candidates across 3 election cycles, the word deficit occurs only 6 times. That seems small for such an important political issue. Let's take a look at the context for that word by doing a text search. The word frequency report will remain open, and you will notice the results of the search are added to the search node in the database tree in Transana's data window. You can explore and manipulate this data as a search result set, and if it proves to be worthwhile, you can convert that search result to a collection to make the results of the search a permanent part of your database. For our example search, we see that the issue of the deficit was asked about in 2 debates in 2008, 1 debate in 2012, and not at all in 2016. I'll want to follow up on that in my analysis. I hope that you find the word frequency report useful.